I was about to do my meditation for the day, and I was just sitting here on the floor, and I thought, it's kind of been a while since I recorded a YouTube video. There's been a lot going on, so I thought maybe I should just go ahead and do this one since it's on my mind. So here we are on my floor in my office with the unbranded rowing machine behind us and my husband's desk with all his junk and, of course, over here my kids' stuff that I've saved everything. I need to organize it because I am that sentimental mom and I save absolutely everything. So let's talk about women entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, people in business in general, but you girls especially, you need to be self-publishing a book this year. And here's why. So number one, traditional publishing is still largely controlled by gatekeepers who don't look like us and don't prioritize our voices. And when you self-publish, you're not waiting for someone else to decide that your message is marketable enough or that your perspective fits the market. You decide and you control it and you own it, and you already have a business, so you know that it fits the market. Number two, women's expertise and our frameworks and our perspectives on how to do business, how to lead, how to help people with wellness and relationships and dating and all sorts of things, they are needed right now. Not in 2027 when a publisher finally gets your book to the market. Right now, while the conversation is happening, while people are looking for alternatives to the same old voices saying the same old things. And number three, 60% of women business owners are self-taught. And that means that we've already proven that we can build something from scratch without somebody else's permission. Self-publishing a book is the same energy, except this time you keep the profit, you keep the control, and you keep the IP. You don't hand 70 or 80% of your earnings to a publisher who may not actually support your work or share your values. Now, when you self-publish a book, the data shows that you'll probably make just about double what you would have made if you published your book traditionally. That can be very significant, right? Even if it was only a $5,000 book, to make $5,000 versus $2,500, that's significant. And imagine if you have a book like the kind that I teach my clients to write, which is designed to earn you tens of thousands of dollars year after year, and think about how that changes things. So here's what I really want to talk about today, because the money is just one piece of it. The thing is, about right now, which is October 2025 as I'm recording this, is that the world is kind of a mess. I have been in online business since 2014, and I can tell you that we are in one of those low trust buyer economies. It waves, it goes back and forth all the time. Right now, it's on the low end of the wave, the ebb, and it is harder to sell. People are overwhelmed with offers. They're sick of the same stuff being rehashed, and they're sick of like the same old boring like Instagram, social media account, courses and programs. And they're also just exhausted from everything happening in the world. And I think a lot of you are sitting on book ideas that really matter beyond just what you do in your business. Why do you do it? What you have to say, it matters. And it has changed lives already for your clients, and it can keep changing lives. And a book like that could even change the world. Perspectives that need to be heard, like yours, and stories that could shift how someone sees their business or their life or the options that they have. But if you go the traditional publishing route, you're looking at 18 to 24 months before your book is out in the world, after you write it, maybe even longer. So whatever you want to say right now, whatever response you have to whatever is happening right now, whatever framework you've developed to help your clients change their lives and their businesses, and however you help them, whatever help you want to offer, it's going to be almost 2 years before anyone can even read it. That's 2 years from now. The conversation will have moved on by then. The moment will have passed. The people who needed to hear from you in 2025, the people who were this close to signing on with you, I just wanted a little more trust building, they've already moved on. They've made their decisions from somebody else with somebody else, and your voice wasn't in the mix for them to have as an option. And I'm, of course, not here to tell you what to think about politics or current events, but I will say this. If you are someone who believes that people deserve safety, dignity, and the right to live long and prosper, if you're someone who thinks expertise and truth actually matters right now and that you have that expertise and truth, then your voice needs to be out there. Not in 2027, right now. And self-publishing gives you that, because you can have a damn good book in the world in 6 months. And you can respond to the moment we're actually in. You can be part of the conversation that's happening right now, not the one that's going to be happening in 2 years. And just as importantly, you can create a damn good asset for your business that, unlike this month's lead magnet, can actually work for you and bring you clients and opportunities for 5 to 10 years or more. Okay, let me back up and tell you why you're already qualified to do this, because you are. So, as I said, 60% of U.S. business owners, female business owners, are self-taught with all the business stuff, and these are lessons that are hard-won for you. So you learn the marketing, you learn how to set up a business, how to pay your taxes, you learn how to launch programs and courses. You have learned how to talk into that empty void of social media in a way that gets people to respond to you so that you can get leads, and then so you can get clients. So you know what you need to do to sell something. And a book is a product. Just like your last course or your last coaching program, there are, of course, differences in selling a book and launching a book from launching a course and all of that. But you have the foundational knowledge you need to do this. It's not some deep black abyss of unknowns that you can't conquer without a big 5 publishing house backing you. And that is exactly what I teach my clients to do, both in our one-on-one coaching and in my self-paced courses, which you can pick up. But what it means is that there is no reason for you to give away 80% of your profit margin just to have a traditional publisher's name on the back of your book. And people who do self-publish, they choose this for more reasons than just the money and the timing. So there's also control over a message and your branding. And as someone who's built a business, you know that sometimes we have to tweak. We have to pivot if something didn't land quite right the first time. You can't just keep pushing out that same message over and over if it wasn't working. So maybe how you talk about yourself is different. Maybe your USP is slightly tweaked. You can't just keep pushing out something that didn't land the first time and hoping that it will land eventually, because we know it won't. And when you traditionally publish a book, you are depending on the editors from that publisher knowing what sells to your clients. And your book is locked in. The cover is locked in. The title is locked in. You're not going to get a new cover unless it sells a lot of copies and you get a second edition printing. That's going to be years down the line, if at all. You're not going to be able to change the title. You may not even get to decide on the final title. In many cases, the publisher won't even go with the title you asked for or you submitted your proposal under. So you certainly will not get to make the final decision on the cover. You will not get to make the final decision on the formatting or what it looks like inside or the messaging used to sell it. Really, all you get to make the final decision on is the copy inside of your book, and that's with caveats. So beyond just the financials, saving yourself a lot of money and earning way more from your money, way more money from your book if you choose to do it yourself, is that control. And that control matters even more right now, because now is not the time to have your message watered down. And just one more thing I'd love for you to consider is that so many of you have been sitting on this book idea for so long. You think it's going to take forever, and so you keep putting it off. Well, it's not going to take forever. When you have the right guidance, it does not take forever to write a damn good book. So when people come to me and they say, I don't want to self-publish, I don't want to spend the money on my own editing, my own cover, my own formatting, I want somebody else to pay for it, I want somebody else to do the marketing. That is not how it works. When you get an advance from a publisher, the average median is about $5,000 for a nonfiction book as of 2022 data. I don't remember the exact number. It's about $5,000. So they give you $5,000 and you give them an entire finished edited manuscript, and they then spend 18 to 24 months waiting for that book to be published. It's because they have their catalogs planned out ahead of time, not because it actually takes that long to publish the book. So you've got your $5,000. After that book it's called earned out that $5,000, and it's not just in sales, it's on the profit from the sales. There's a calculation, but it's way too complicated to go into here. Then eventually, a couple years down the line, after the book's actually sold, probably about $10,000 in sales, and that will be about when you've earned out, you'll start getting some royalties, and it's usually about 8 to 10%. And then your agent takes a cut. Agent usually takes 15% of the royalties. So they're going to take a cut, and then you're going to get whatever's left from that. So this $5,000 advance is not paying your salary for the 6 months that you spent writing that book, or God forbid, the 12 months that you spent writing that book. And if you think about the opportunity cost, $5,000 is what? For people who are making just an average U.S. salary from their business, maybe they're making $5,000 a month from their business. Maybe that's half a month's salary for you, or maybe even it's a week's salary, depending on where you are in your business and how much you've scaled it. But regardless of where you're at, it's not a lot, and it's certainly not feeding you for a whole year. And here's the catch on top of the other catch. That $5,000 they paid you is basically so that you can pay for marketing for the book. So you can hire a PR agent. So you can do Facebook ads and Amazon ads. So you're not going to get marketing from the publisher anymore, especially as a debut author. You will be doing the marketing. You will be setting up the book signings. You will be paying for the travel to the book signings. You will be paying for the Facebook ads, Amazon ads. You will be marketing it to your email list and your social media. And catch on top of catch on top of catch, you may also be contractually obligated to buy 5,000 or even 10,000 copies of the book yourself. So in many cases, authors can come out in the negative from taking a publishing deal because the publishers are not going to take a risk on you. That is not their business model. You are taking a risk on them. They're going to say, okay, we'll publish your book. We'll put our well-regarded brand name on the back so that you have the validation that it was not self-published. But in turn, you're going to buy 5,000 copies of that book, which you will hopefully be able to resell at some point down the line. And they're going to break even. So there goes your advance and probably more. And you still got to do the marketing. And then again, it's going to be a couple of years before you make any royalties if you do it all, because without the control over the book, it's going to be difficult to keep it selling unless it's a breakout bestseller. Those are shots in the dark. That's a blue moon thing to have a breakout bestseller. It does happen, but you don't need one. You don't need a breakout bestseller to make consistently, tens of thousands extra a year from your book for the next 5 to 10 years or more. You just don't need that. What you need is to have control over it so that you can make the right choices so that it will actually sell and so that you can bring in the kind of revenue you want from the back end of it. So more speaking gigs, more clients, more course or digital product sales with less hassle, more consulting partnerships, whatever you want, you need the control to do it. So this has been a long time. I should have scripted this, but let me just leave you with this. The book launch itself and the marketing that you do and the education and the expertise that you already have from running a business, that's 80% of a book's success. Writing it, editing it, polishing it, that's just 20%. And I can help you with that because, of course, you do need to know how to do it right. You cannot just sit down and start writing whatever comes to your mind and hope it's going to do well. That won't go as well as you're hoping. But if you want consistent sales, if you want the book to actually convert for you, it needs to be written in a certain way that's designed to convert readers from cold to, steaming hot. And to build that know, love, and trust, that is especially required right now in this low trust economy. So it is a more difficult market right now for all online business sales and even brick and mortar sales. And I think it's going to last a couple more years. But a book is consistently, even in these downturns, performing better for converting people into clients and customers and just bringing in that extra passive income. So now is the time to write a book for your business. And it's not next year. It's not 2027. It is not any other time except for now. So if you're just landing here, be sure to like the video so YouTube knows it was decent, even though I didn't script it. And take my free quiz to learn what your most profitable book strategy stack is. I'll put the link below. And you can even get some free book coaching from me as well when you take that quiz. So go ahead and grab it. 2 minutes of your life to learn how to write a profitable book and get some free coaching on your first chapter. So use this time right now to get ahead of your competitors. Write the book so that you can stand out, so that you can build trust when everybody else is using AI to write their stupid Facebook posts and everybody can tell that it's AI. It's time to say something different. Say something meaningful. Say something that actually is going to convert your audience into clients. So say the thing you need to say while it still matters. Write your book and watch this video next.